You know how crazy we have to look? Just so you guys, just to break the illusion, we've got two lights that are on our recording device so that way you can see us because it gets dark around here at like 4:30.
It's like having a motorcycle on the hood of your car that's just facing at you.
Dude, I almost lost the donut. It was almost gone. That close. Almost redecorated the interior of your Kia.
Can't look much worse. Oh my god.
I'm afraid to clean. I don't want the paint to come off.
You kidding me? You spit out a donut on this dash, the airbag will hit you. Okay, 216. The Bills have given up in back-to-back games 216 total yards and 221 total yards. Usually in today's NFL, that's a half for some teams.
Yeah.
In 8 quarters, they've given up 437 yards of total offense.
In 8?
In 8. The last 2 games, man. 8 quarters.
Good God.
In the past 18 quarters, the Buffalo Bills have allowed 4 offensive touchdowns.
That's incredible.
Ridiculous. And the funny thing about it was, I was looking at, before the game today, I was looking at to see where the Bills ranked in yardage, because, that's pretty impressive. I started noticing some of the numbers and stuff like that. So I started looking up at some of the numbers. They were 6th in the NFL in yards allowed per game. But you know what? I really counted them as 4th in the NFL. Because the 2 teams that were ahead of them were Green Bay and Baltimore. If you're a team that plays the Bills, the yards allowed should be moot. You're not allowed to count those. I'm an idiot. But the point that those statistics are, shall I say, not only playoff but conference championship type defenses that go in.
Literally, all you need is an average offense.
That's all you need. I mean, Dable can't even get this offense to average. But some of the things that we're talking about, I saw a play where they ran a play action, and he threw like a skinny post to Hopkins, and he threaded it right in there. Watson did. I'm sorry. He threaded it right in there. It was a beautiful pass, and James Lofton made the comment and said, "You're not supposed to be able to complete this pass." And I said it from my vantage point. Yeah, because Edmonds is supposed to be there picking it off. He bit up on the play action. So while it's not happening as often, I love seeing it. Edmonds is not getting, up in the wash. A couple times, he got washed over, but Milano was there. Milano was all over the place.
Boy, that was a great pick. Milano. What a great pick that was.
Which one did he pick?
No. Talking about draft.
Oh, you drafted, yes.
Oh, yeah, look at the value you got.
Oh, my God. Was he
Milano?
3rd or 4th? Was he 3rd? 2nd?
Oh, lower. I thought he was a 4th.
Okay. Probably, you can check it out if you want.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Edmonds is starting to develop.
Yeah.
Milano, he had to run the gauntlet last year, sitting behind Humber. He sat and learned, and now he's doing great. Tre'Davious White will line up against any number 1 wide receiver in the league. Yeah. We've noticed that. You need help on the other side.
But what we were concerned about was, can Tre'Davious White handle a speed receiver? So we were concerned about
him handling Fuller.
Right.
But he didn't have to.
No.
He said, listen, we'll take out Hopkins. He only had 4 for, 60 or something?
Yeah.
5 for 60?
Milano's 5th round pick.
5th round pick?
Yep. How can you beat that value? You can't beat that value.
You can't, because that was Whaley scouting him.
It was Whaley scouting. They know Whaley knows linebackers.
Yeah.
Whaley knows linebackers. That's all that you need to know about Doug Whaley.
But the thing is, though, it's coming together. This defense, you had Hyde, who was written off in Green Bay. You had Poyer, who was written off in Cleveland. They come together. They're doing great. Teron Johnson is doing phenomenal. Star Lotulelei is plugging up the middle.
I still hear him catching flack from fans, but He's not a pass rush DT.
No, he is a guy that's going to eat up 2 bodies on each play. Your linebackers can roam. That's
Right.
what he's there for.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with his play a lot of times because you have to. It's not like you can put one guy on him and say, "All right, you're going to take out Star." No, you have to account.
That's
for
not
that,
how it works.
That beast every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not. But this is the other thing that's so frustrating. We talk about the offense. We talk about how you look around the league at other offenses and how they're producing and how they're doing this. And we had said last year, what quarterback wouldn't want to go play with the Jacksonville defense? Remember
Yeah.
in the offseason, and they have re-signing Bortles. What quarterback wouldn't want to go play with this defense?
I know, right?
Not play with this offense, but play with this defense.
Yeah.
If they next season just spend all of their cap money on offense, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that at this point. I mean, you put enough young pieces across the defense that you don't have to spend money on them next year. You're not spending money on the defense next year.
No. Plus, you signed those guys to 2-year contracts, so you could open up your book for the offense.
Well, let's talk about Shaq Lawson for a moment then, right?
He's starting to come around.
He is. So the Bills need to make a decision by the end of the season whether they're going to pick up his 5th-year option.
This is his 3rd year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are the Bills going to pick up his 5th-year option? They can decline it at any time just as long as he's not injured, which I think is always the concern with Shaq Lawson, right? Is that he's going to get injured in the 4th season. That's going to cause him to miss time in the 5th season, which means his 5th-year option immediately becomes guaranteed.
Yep.
Right. So do you think the Bills are going to pick up his option?
I would say no, just for the simple fact is they went out and got Murphy, and they signed Phillips.
Yep.
I don't know, and they still keep Yarborough.
I still feel like they're going to pick up his option because what are the odds that he ends up with a serious injury that's going to cost him time the next season?
He is from Clemson.
I understand that he's from Clemson, but the Bills turned down Watkins' option because that was a legitimate concern. You really had to be worried about Watkins ending up with
He didn't play
injury.
very many games, though.
No,
is that
he
why?
did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
The Bills declined Watkins' option.
I mean, they declined Watkins' option, and he's a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Lawson's in the trenches. If he has an injury, that's every play.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receivers can take plays off. It's not a big deal. But I think you do. I mean, what does it hurt at this point?
You can always decline it.
He's not a guy that they got.
No.
But he doesn't necessarily hurt you at this point. He's made some great plays over the last couple of weeks.
I think he's
starting
key
to buy
that
in.
rotation,
Yeah.
right? That's the one thing I'd like to see the Bills work a little bit heavier is that defensive line rotation, right? Because you see Hughes on the field, he's probably playing 60% of snaps.
If Murphy wasn't an injury concern, Lawson probably would have been gone by now.
That's probably true.
I'm thinking that. But
That's
then
probably
that's
true.
why they pick up Phillips, because then you can have a 2-man rotation of Lawson, and you put Yarborough on the side
other
where,
side. Yeah,
where
the other
Hughes
side.
is. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they got some good rotations that they're keeping guys fresh. They're doing that. Would I sign Lawson? Yeah, probably. If there's nothing else out there, if we look at the free agent market for who's going to be a free agent in 2 years as defensive end, but then again, you could draft a guy in 2 years.
Right.
It's a beast. So it's
Right.
It's one of those things. But it's hard to think that they're going to bring a guy up for 3 years in their system and just let him go. He knows the answers to the test. You know the system. Why would you get rid of him? So,
Yep.
Aside from that, great game by Edmonds, great game by Milano. I think White played a good game.
How is he not Rookie of the Year?
How was he last year? 'Cause
How was he
Lattimore
now?
was an animal.
Man, better than Trey White. Trey White is that defense right now.
You have a little bias.
Come on, he's really good.
I know he's really good, but you still have bias.
Perhaps.
So do I. It's okay. I would have picked Trey too.
I think here's the deal. I think it is unfair to name somebody Rookie of the Year when the offense on the other side of the ball for him is dropping 35 points a game. I think Marshawn Lattimore is going to have more opportunities to deflect and intercept passes
It's like,
on a defense where teams are playing from behind all the time.
It's like, yeah.
So
You got a great point. It's like one of those things when they always talk about the MVP discussion. It's
Yeah.
like, is he the MVP of his team or the league? What are
Right.
you talking about?
Yeah.
Is he the
Starting-
greatest player in the league right now?
a starting pitcher in the AL could win 25 games, not winning the Cy Young, and he's not going to win MVP if his team only won 26 games all season. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Unless you're A-Rod and you win the MVP
On the
last
worst
place
team. Yeah, on the worst team in the league. That was ridiculous. Anyway.
We digress.
Anyway. Yeah, there are a lot of positives here.
I'm worried, like I mentioned on the broadcast on Sunday, I'm so worried about the divide happening with this team.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That, you know what, because as I mentioned too, I'm not saying that they are them, but the 2000 Ravens, their offense didn't score for a month. That's a similar situation we're in here right now.
very similar.
But Brian Billick didn't allow that team to divide or go up against each other because one unit was playing really well, one unit wasn't. So since we haven't heard anything coming out of Bill's camp, they're not winning games, so there's no reason for people to be quiet. They're 2-4. We don't hear mumblings of defense and offense. So McDermott seems to be keeping either a real tight lid on that, or those guys are still supporting each other in the best way they know how, because the defense has to know the offense is struggling.
Oh, yeah.
And the offense needs to know, damn it, we have to get something started. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be hard for the defensive players on that team because the Bills' defense is playing great. And they're playing great.
They are playing great. It hurts. It hurts my core.
But it is very possible that the defense, if there were guys who were about themselves and not about the team, easily could explode in that locker room and create just a massive, nasty scene every day, all day.
Now
That locker room could be really bad, and we just don't know it. Or McDermott's doing his job of being a head coach and keeping everything held together.
It could be that too. It could be. We talked about it before, and I just want to bring it up really quick. You look at the defense, look at the offense. Who's the defensive leaders? You have Kyle Williams there. Guys are going to listen to him. Starlo Tula there. Guys, even though he just came in, he's been a veteran in the league. You have guys that are veterans in the league and leaders on the team. So there's nothing really going on. Who are your leaders on offense? Who?
Yeah.
What? I mean,
Shady, truthfully, should not be a captain.
no, no.
should not
But
be.
what I'm saying is, if you had a Kyle Williams type, I don't know, Eric Wood on the offensive side of the ball, do you think KB's sitting out of pregame warmups?
Yeah. No,
There's no leadership over there.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. Shady is like, did you ever go to summer camp and there was always that one camp counselor who you knew smoked just a ton of weed but just never really got in trouble? Like, would get in trouble a little bit, but never really got in trouble.
Is that the guy that 20 years later has a better 401k than you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that
All
guy.
right. I know him.
Yeah, you know him? Yeah. Chuck. I know you, Chuck. Anyway, but losing Eric Wood was a major domino to this offense because there aren't leaders on the offense.
Yeah, there are.
While Shady is, one of the best players on your team,
that doesn't always translate to a leader.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Vlad Dukas, is he a leader? Patrick DeMarco, is he a leader? Do you think DeMarco is out there fixing things on that offense? No, DeMarco's playing 15% of the snaps.
No, it's oh god, it's so bad.
But they also haven't invested resources in that position besides Josh Allen. That's it. They've held together the line of what they had. They basically have, this is what we got, so this is what we're going to play. They're holding it together. That's all they're doing, is it's just held together right now. That's all. So until they invest real resources into the offense, I really do struggle to get upset with it. This is what I thought this was going to be.
It's like, why could you get mad even though they're being bad? Well, you didn't expect them to be good.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating though.
I expected them to run a lot. And I'm not getting that.
Okay. Getting back to the defense.
Oh yeah, is that what this episode was about?
I think so. Rewind it.
Yeah, right.
But the thing was,
I gotta check the tape on that.
Going against the Colts this week.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck throws 50 times a game.
Yep.
lot of chances for the secondary to get turnovers.
Yeah.
If Hilton's not playing, who do you put White on? Grant? Rodgers? Like, who they have that you want to single up? Or is this the defense where you just keep White on the one side of the... Yeah, let's try it. Let's just try it, see if we have to do it. Or do you stick with what works? I mean, I would... If you go zone against Luck, I think he tears you up. They don't really have a huge running game to speak of. Eric Ebron versus Edmonds. I can't wait to see that matchup.
Oh, yeah.
See that collision in the middle of the field.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
But it's like, it's one of those things where, what do you do?
It's going to be Matt Milano on Nyheim Hines all game. All game. That's going to be it. It's going to be all game.
That's going to be awesome.
And like Marlon Mack was actually running the ball. He's actually running the ball, and he runs it inside. And that's something you can't do on the Bills. You don't. You even saw it today. You even saw it this week against the Texans.
Marlon Mack will have 9 carries for 7 yards.
Alfred Blue can get inside the tackles, and he did not. The teams aren't even trying to run inside on the Bills.
No.
They're not even trying.
All off tackle.
Yeah, everything's off tackle.
Which we saw. They didn't come upfield very much. They tried to, because they wanted to keep Watson contained too, even though he was hurt. You ever try to throw a football with a bruised sternum though?
No.
It's the worst ever.
Yeah? Is it as bad as trying to throw it with a possibly broken elbow?
Oh my God.
He threw that ball like 50 Cent.
I can't wait to hear that. Well, if we had Mahomes, he could throw it left-handed.